This is a how-to on MHFE screencast about how to make sure your hyperlinks are accessible on the website. So what I'm going to do first is just show this is really nothing any different to when you're working on a Word document. So I'm going to start with a Word document and start from there. So one of the ways in which we often see hyperlinks in documents is for somebody to make a statement and then to say making hyperlinks accessible, and you will see the URL. Or quite often what we see is something that says click here, and then what you will find is that people have embedded the URL in here. So let's just do that and pop the hyperlink in. Okay. Oops. I think I'm going to use I think I'm just going to use a different link. You can use the same one for everything. Okay, so sometimes you'll see that. Okay, what I want to do is to just explain which one of these works best, and then to show you that effectively you're probably doing that on Word already as it happens. So making hyperlinks accessible here is, if you are using assistive technology, then you don't really kind of know what's coming next, if you like. And if your screen reader reads out HTTPS :// etc., then actually it doesn't really help you to know, do you want to follow the link, is it of interest, etc. And particularly if you're new to using assistive technology, it can be really, really frustrating. Similarly, if it says click here, then a screen reader is going to read that out. And how does someone who is using assistive technology, because they are blind or partially sighted, know where here is? Because not everybody will necessarily hyperlink the here. Quite often what they will do is to click here, and then they will put the URL, and then the person doesn't quite know where to click for that. So the better and more accessible way to do it is to write your text, which the screen reader is going to read out, and to embed your hyperlink in the text. And you do that by putting the text in, and then you highlight the text, and you insert a hyperlink in exactly the same way. And you put the URL in there, and then the text itself is hyperlinked. So the screen reader will read out that this is a link to the how-to pages on MHFE. And if you're any doubt that that's the way in which to do this, then you need to check it, just like you would spell check, or you should check every document that you produce to make sure it's as accessible as possible. And you do that by going into review on the Word tab, and not the spelling and grammar check, but use the accessibility check. And what it will do is it will pick up any errors in your document for you to correct. So this has a number of warnings on it here. And the two warnings are that this first one is unclear hyperlink text. The second one is unclear hyperlink text, as in it won't be accessible. And then because I've put some spaces in, we have some repeated blank characters. So what I'm going to do is to show you that this will clear it. If I was to take that out, then you can see that one of our unclear hyperlinks is gone. And in fact, if I do that, one of my spaces is gone. If I take this out here, then you can see that I've removed the other warning for a hyperlink, and you can see that this hyperlink doesn't attract a warning, and that once I take out the excess space that I'd put in, you can see that there are no accessibility issues identified with this. Now, the accessibility in Word isn't perfect, but this should be the bare minimum standard for any documents that you're producing and attaching to pages in the MHFE website, but it's also the same standard that we apply to the website itself. So I'm going to show you how you do that on the website. Just going to take some of these things with me so that we can use exactly the same approach. But you won't get a warning in the same way, but there is clear legislation that says that we need to make websites accessible. Anything that you put on a website really is a service for people, and services are covered by the Equality Act, and then secondly, the Web3 accessibility standards, which we should adhere to. So I'm just going to get rid of the Word document, and I'm going to go to a basic page on the MHFE website. Okay, so obviously to create a page on MHFE or to edit it, you need to have the appropriate rights. So I'm logged in here, and I've just started to create a basic page here. Now, obviously I give it a title, and just a quick extra tip, titles should have between 3 and 6 words, no more really. And if you put symbols in with them, it comes out as gobbledygook, and that's no good for assistive technology either. And it's not very good for URLs. And the URL gets generated from the title. So I think the title for this one is our title about making hyperlinks accessible. So that's our title there. And then we would put the text in here and make it accessible by hyperlinking to it. Okay, so what we're going to do is to say that if you were to say making hyperlinks accessible here, and you were to put in the URL, then in exactly the same way as we've said in the Word document, this would not work well. It wouldn't work well with assistive technology. It's not accessible, and so it's not acceptable on this particular website. So what you need to do is to make sure that it works with the text in the same way as we showed on the Word. So first of all, if you were going to leave it like this, you would make the hyperlink work, but we're not going to leave it like this. So what you do is you take your text and you highlight it. Once you've highlighted it, you'll see in the toolbar here, you've got the usual little hyperlink symbol, and you'll see it says insert edit link. So you click that. You can make this box bigger so that you can see what you're doing. And you do a number of things. First of all, you insert the URL. And then the next thing that you do is you decide whether it's going to open in the same window or a different window. Now, again, there are rules about this. And the rule is that if the new place that you're taking somebody to via the hyperlink is on the same website, then you click open in the same window. But if it's going to another website, YouTube, etc., then you click open in a new window, and the link that I've used goes to YouTube. And then you put in the title. Now, this is the place where everybody seems to get lazy, and what they do is they just put link, or they just put YouTube or something. This title is what somebody who's using assistive technology screen reader will read out to them. And so it needs to make sense, as in it needs to be meaningful. So the first thing to do is to say that this is a link to or a hyperlink to. So link to, and then it's, in this particular instance, it's a video recording on the MHFE YouTube channel. So now I've said that this is a link to the video recording. It's on the MHFE YouTube channel, so the person knows that first it's a hyperlink, secondly they're going to be taken somewhere else. And then we say exactly what it's about. Now, once you've done it, you might decide to make it even simpler. So how to make accessible hyperlinks. Okay, and that's it. You don't need to do anything with the class. You click insert, and you can see that your hyperlink is there and now works. Okay, and then all you do is when you've finished your content and you've obviously tagged your page, then you click save, and that will be it saved. And that link is now an accessible hyperlink. And you can see that when you hover over it, also other people can make a decision about whether to go, because you can actually see that it comes up and tells you what it is. And so that's much more helpful generally, as well as for people with assistive technology. So that's the end of that one. And I hope that it was useful.